Welcome to Parent University. I'm so glad to have y'all here tonight. Miss Cowell and I will be delivering the Dibbles and Burst for K2 session. Before I start, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Parent University. This is a Title I parent and family engagement activity. Being a Title I school means that we receive money from the government to help provide our school with some needed materials and supplies. In order to receive federal funds through the Title I program, it is our responsibility to make sure that all stakeholders are aware of the program. The purpose of the 6 events we sponsor each year is to help equip our parents and families with as many tools as possible to continue to be an active partner in their child's education. Our goal tonight is to inform you about various aspects of the curriculum here at Fifth Ward and answer any questions you may have about how to better help your child at home. When you complete the Title I survey in the spring, please be sure to say you have attended a parent and family engagement activity and were told about the Title I program. We will also be sending you a follow up email with a link to complete our Ticket Out the Door survey. The survey is very important for us as your feedback helps us improve our events to better meet the needs of our Falcon family. What is Dibbles Next? Dibbles is a standardized and individualized reading program. The tests are given in short 1 minute fluency measures to monitor the development of our early reading skills. We assess the children in the fall and get a baseline measurement of where they're at, and then we will progress monitor until it's time to do another benchmark assessment, which is in the winter. And we will do the same thing after the winter assessment. We find out where they're at and we assess them and see where their needs are and where their strengths are. And we also assess them in the spring.
Okay, so why do we use Dibbles Next? Dibbles is one-on-one. It helps us provide individualized instruction so that whenever we generate lessons for the students, we're able to pinpoint where their strengths and weaknesses are. And then it's also growth centered. So the Dibbles assessment has 4 main measures. There's letter naming fluency, phoneme segmentation fluency, nonsense word fluency, and oral reading fluency. The first part of the test is mainly given to kindergarten and first grade students, and it's the letter naming portion. So students are given a sheet of letters that's similar to the one that you see on the slide, and they're timed for 1 minute. So they will point to the letters, say the letter name, and then at the end of 1 minute, we just mark where they stopped, and that's used to help calculate their final composite score.
The next component of Dibbles is the phoneme segmentation. This is a measure where it assesses the child's ability to recognize phonemes, which is basically just the sounds of words. The ability to recognize letter sounds has been found to be a good predictor of later reading achievement. A student will be given a list of words one at a time and asked to tell the sounds they hear in the word. For example, the teacher would say cat. The student would say k, a, t. This is what the phoneme segmentation score sheet looks like, or something very similar. Students will receive 1 point for each correct sound that they have identified in 1 minute. The student is told any unknown sounds. Phonemic awareness is essential in developing later reading skills.
So the next part of the assessment is nonsense word fluency. So the students will be given a list of words that are make-believe words. And what they have to do is they're going to tell you the sounds for those words. So for example, at the bottom of the slide, you'll see where it says the student sees nog. So the student would look at that word and either do n, ah, g for those sounds, or they'll read the whole word as nog. It really is better for them if they can read the whole word. However, they're still going to get points for knowing those sounds. So a lot of times we see that with the younger kids who are just learning letters and sounds. Most of those kids are probably just going to give us the letter sounds for those. But as the kids get farther into kindergarten and in first, second, third grade even, we expect the kids to be able to read that whole word because it counts for more points on the total composite score if they read the whole word. So this slide shows you an example of what those nonsense word fluency forms look like. A lot of times I know the teachers will send home silly word practice sheets, and it probably looks a lot like these. Those are really good practice for the kids in not only learning their letters and sounds, but it's also really good practice for teaching them how to blend words so that they're ready to read as soon as possible.
The next component is the oral reading. This is where a child is given one passage and they are told to read it in 1 minute.
So here's an example of what the oral reading fluency passage might look like. The student is given directions to do their best reading. If they're stuck on a word, we can tell them what the word is. But words that are omitted, substitutions, words that are taking longer than 3 seconds, we have to count those as errors. The number of words correct in 1 minute is the oral reading rate.
So, how do you practice with your child? So easy and fun. Set your timer for 1 minute. Have your child read for 1 minute. Mark the last word that your child has said. As your child reads, you will be circling any words that your child doesn't know or any word that you have to tell them. Please let your child finish reading the selection or passage that they are reading, but you're not timing. Ask them about what the story was about. This helps them practice their retelling. Count all the words that your child has read, and this includes the eras. Count all the eras. Subtract the eras from the total words. As you can see, we have an example here on the screen. If the child reads 20 words with 5 eras, your child has read 15 words per minute.
So each of those different components that we just discussed give us their DIBELS composite score. It's a combination of all of the scores, and it gives us the best overall estimate of your student's reading proficiency.
The next 2 slides is just a handout that you can see what the benchmark goals are for each grade level. So what can I do if my child isn't at benchmark? Don't panic. Talk to your child's grade level teacher. They are always happy to help. Read to your child often and have him or her read to you. At Fifth Ward, we are going to do an intervention called BURST.
So what is BURST? BURST is an intervention program that we do here at Fifth Ward. It's led by different staff. So if you look at the bottom of the slide, the kindergarten BURST teachers are listed, the first grade BURST teachers, the second grade BURST teachers, and then third grade we just kind of listed. We do interventions with them, they just don't do our BURST program. So the way that the BURST program works is that lessons are created for 10-day cycles. Then in the middle of the 10-day cycle, we do what's called progress monitoring, where we're testing the students on the different skills that they are kind of been working on during the BURST cycle lessons. The great thing about it is that with that progress monitoring happening so frequently, we're able to pinpoint the students' strengths and weaknesses, and then the lessons adjust according to that group's needs. So it's a really great program. If you want any handouts, we have some handouts here at school. You can either email myself or Miss Hidalgo, and we'll be happy to email those to you so that you can kind of get an idea. And I guess that's it. Anything else, Miss Hidalgo?
I can't think of anything. please just know that here at Fifth Ward, we are here to help you and our students just succeed to the best that we can. Thank you for joining us.